Welcome to Bad Gear, the show about the world's most hated audio tools. Roland instruments are the pinnacle of music technology. Tones so awesome that they're still force-fed to music enjoyers decades after their creation, timeless design and a history of pushing forward innovation exactly where it is needed while preserving their great heritage. Today we are going to talk about MC707. This OG Groovebox for the 2020s comes with a third best display to ever grace a Roland machine, their second best modern take on the classic sounds and the best method to sell more cloud subscriptions. At the first glance we're in box-ticking heaven. Zen-core sound generators with a UI of a 90s JV, a half-baked attempt to go medieval on Ableton's derriere, MPC-style pads in a blasphemous arrangement, menu diving for days, and the usual cognitive dissonance caused by a combination of hands-on controls and a deep rabbit hole of antiquated workflow atrocities. 8 tracks offer presumably sample-based drum kits with an optional compressor, the aforementioned Zen-core engines covering all bases from acoustic instruments, synthetic dairy products,
User samples.
VA-style oscillators with super sauce and eclectic combinations of these options in a 4-oscillator environment. With sync, ring and 2 kinds of cross-modulation. There's also a basic modulation matrix. The term TVF gives me 80s Rompler PTSD. But you can switch these filters for VCF emulations, which will reduce the instrument's 128 voices of polyphony. Speaking of, I thought the days of voice reserve management were over, and strangely enough it limits the machine's total voice count to 80. Roland made a foray into DAW territory by adding sampling/looper clips with time stretch. You can freely assign this selection of engines to the 8 tracks, which are triggered by clips which themselves populate a matrix you can find on the home screen. Combine them to scenes.
How do I get to make you feel my love?
Or control them using the dedicated pad mode. Loops aside, these clips consist of note information you can record in real time with or without quantization, or generate using the easy-to-use step sequencer. 128 steps, polymeters, motion recording, with Elektron-esque parameter locks. No complaints here. Music theory illiterates like me will appreciate Chord Mode. The fader-laden mixer wants you to jam. You can assign parameters to the numerous knobs, but I didn't find a way to make them follow what's going on the display dynamically, which makes crafting sounds harder than it should be. As we are talking about the display, it tends to lag when scrolling, there are nerve-wracking loading times, and it opens up a dimension of plentiful, oftentimes plastic-sounding and very Rolandian presets. Frequent viewers of this show will know me as a Roland/Boss FX lover, and there are plenty in the 707. The usual reverb and delay, There's an EQ and multi-FX unit in every track, and another multi-FX, bus compressor and EQ allow for basic mastering. We must There's no auto-save, you can't save project data while the sequencer is running, and the writing process feels like launching a nuke. It's nice to have an SD card slot, but I'm not aware of any direct sample streaming functionality. After having its drum machine sibling, the TR-8S, on the show a few weeks back, I was disappointed to see a reduced number of analog outputs. You can use the stereo effect send as another output though, which comes with certain limitations. 2 MIDI outs give me feelings of power, and there's a simple yet functional mixer for the inputs, which can handle line and microphone signals and FX return routing. Leave a comment how cloud integration worked out for you. The plastic machine is rugged but lightweight with a minimum amount of controller wobbliness, and thanks to Klangfarbe for lending me one of their floor models. The MC707 stands in a tradition of controversially discussed all-in-one music production powerhouses. Is it more than a preset landfill for bedroom studio warriors? You have already heard the machine in today's intro tune. Everything's there. 707 samples, deep bass and the slight chill of a Zen-core emulation. Let's start this out with a classic Groovebox workout. There's a lot to unpack here. Although I appreciate the ease of use, I was running into strange timing issues and had to carefully set up voice reserve to combat note stealing. Even after spending some time tweaking the sounds, I had a hard time getting rid of the somewhat anemic overall timbre. Time to use the 707 as a sequencing centerpiece and FX unit for more specialized instruments. Not my most inspired jam, but you get the idea. The meme-like Roland patches are spot on, and controlling external gear works like a charm. Sound processing is excellent as per usual. As you might have noticed, I was struggling to create convincing patches in a jam situation. I wanna know if a little extra time and dedication can make it sound good in, it might not be a Jupiter 8, but it's certainly a damn fine chord and noise machine. Emphasize the flaws, down-tempo dub techno. Verdict. If you are a fan of classic Grooveboxes, look no further. The 707 comes with plenty of features, a performance-oriented workflow and the promise of giving you everything you need for electronic music production. However, MC veterans will know that the tried and tested recipe always had its flaws. Everything below surface level feels like operating an ancient rack unit. Roland is walking a fine line when it comes to ironing out basic issues and, most importantly, an over-reliance on questionable presets based on a second-rate sound engine that isn't exactly fun to tweak. Given the current focus on the cloud, instruments like the 707 or TR-8S might be a dying breed, but Roland is running out of iconic numbers to put in their product names anyways. Thanks for watching and see you next time! Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the episode. Feel free to like, subscribe, become a patron and leave a comment what other kind of gear you would like to see and hear on the show.